So like after a fucking year of the internet losing its goddamn mind about a Snow White movie, and whether or not they were gonna like it be too different from the original Snow White movie. Oh my god, are there gonna be dwarves in the movie? Are they gonna change the movie? Is the Snow White not white enough? Guys, what the fuck is wrong with you? Seriously. The new live-action remake of Snow White turns out to be probably the most, like, faithful in terms of just being the original movie, with a couple differences, and add some new songs and some other characters so that the second act is a little bit longer, and so Snow White can fight her own bad guy and be like the main character of her own movie. That's pretty much it. You know? Otherwise, as close as you can get to a one-to-one and not be an hour-long like the old one was, version of one of these live-action remakes is how this breaks down. The most faithful to the original, if that's your criteria, if that's what you're looking for, of these Disney live-action things. And the prince is like a different guy because he's not like a Prince guy. He's like a Robin Hoodish guy, and he gets his own song as well. So, okay, that's like the one different thing here. Pretty much it. So basically, wicked shocker, the internet was wrong.
You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
Shocking. So like, are people gonna say they were sorry for dragging all of this nothing up? Not to the studio, motherfuck Disney. But like for making all the rest of us in the press and everyone in the audience actually have to think about and talk about this bullshit. The entertainment press decided that Rachel Zegler was the current like hate target. Say, you know, oh hey, we shouldn't have done that. This was actually based on nothing. No? Yeah, okay, yeah, but the movie is fine. I mean, I don't mean to bury the lead, but really, other than saying, yeah, it's very pretty, the songs are good, the people can sing, all of the actors can sing. I'm not actually still sure whether or not Gal Gadot can actually sing because she just kind of has a shouting being evil song. I'm also not sure if Gal Gadot can act yet. Like, I think she may actually just be a god-awful actress, and in Wonder Woman, I think that people were just sort of, like, blown away that she was really good-looking, and we figured it might be a language barrier thing, and maybe she just didn't, like, fully grasp English, but it kind of feels like maybe she just didn't know how human beings speak, because in everything else, it seems like she might actually just be an awful actress, but fortunately, in this, she's doing like an over-the-top, like Rita Repulsa, bad guy who's just bad to be bad kind of role, and you don't need to be a good actress to play just a mean bitch who's mean for the sake of being a mean bitch, and that's the role that they've given her. She's in about as much of this one by percentage as the evil queen is in the original, which is to say not that much, which is exactly how much she needs to be there. She shows up, she says, yeah, hi, I'm here to be evil, give me all the gold, and that's it. Like, I'm sure that people will read aesthetically into this all kinds of stuff, like, oh, she's evil and bad and takes all the gold and says to people, no, it's better to be doing hard work instead of partying all the time. Is this like Soviet stuff? Is she an evil foreigner who takes all the wealth from abundance from people and says that it's better to be harsh? Is this a Doge reference? No, they made this movie like 2 years ago and it's releasing it now because that's how long movies take. But I really do think Gal Gadot might just be like a bad actress who is best used in these kind of over-the-top diva roles. Like some of the Disney movies, the live action ones, okay, they can be good, bad, whatever. I feel like as a film critic, I am asked to care a little too much about live action Disney movies that are the equivalent of waiting in line at theme park stuff, but okay, fine. But like original Snow White especially is a landmark of artistry as the first animated movie, but as like a narrative story, it's a little thin. This is a movie to entertain small children with dancing and singing and funny dwarves. The characters don't talk too much. There's a beginning, middle, a prince shows up, and that's basically the end. Rachel Zegler is very clearly a movie star. She should probably find a different role to play than literal princess who changes the world through songs, because getting cast as basically that in the Hunger Games movie, Maria in West Side Story, and now Snow White as your first 3 movies is the kind of typecasting that invites an true Hollywood story if you don't pivot away from that pretty quick, but she is very good in this. It's very clear how people looked at her and said, okay, that's a movie star right away. Not everyone can show up in what is like a literal Ice Capades ready Snow White cosplay outfit and not look ridiculous, and instead she shows up and it's like, yeah, okay, I buy that. That's Snow White. You know, you take like little kids who go to Disney World and see the characters in the dress, and it's like, okay, yep, no, that's Snow White. I buy that. The CGI on the dwarves, they're like motion capture actors. In close-up, they look like CGI characters. In far away, they look like regular characters. It looks pretty cool. I like seeing the dwarves. I looked at it, I said, yep, those are the 7 dwarves. Works for me. See, you can tell I front-loaded with the angry comedy stuff because there's not too much to say on this one other than, yeah, pretty good movie. If you want to see a live-action Snow White movie, this is a live-action Snow White movie, and it's fine. The new songs are decent, but mostly forgettable. The classic songs that they don't do Someday My Prince because the guy's not a prince in this one, but the, memorable Snow White songs, Whistle While You Work, Hi-Ho, it's like those are in there, and they do them, and they do the dance numbers the same, but bigger. And they come together, they play out, it works. 1 or 2 extra additions with the dwarves that play out very well. They get arcs, which is fun. But like, oh, hey, yep, that's happy, sneezy, grumpy, etc. Doc, there's nothing wrong with this because it's basically just, hey, do you want to see the memorable parts of Snow White done out in live action in like sets that look exactly like they're supposed to, characters that look like they're supposed to? Yeah, okay, if that's your criteria, that's the movie. And again, we spent a goddamn year with the internet losing, not just even the internet, like regular press thing. This escaped containment where like regular media figures were having to talk about this bullshit. Biggest proof positive ever that all of this bullshit from YouTube gossip, scoop culture stuff, all the usual suspects of that have no fucking idea what they're talking about. And I know that doesn't have anything to do with whether or not this movie is good, but all of that subsumed all of the talk about this movie to the point when that was a bigger story than the making of the film itself. And maybe that was inevitable because there isn't that much else to this other than what's a live-action Snow White movie? This just is Walt Disney's Snow White with realistic people. Okay, yeah, all right, that's a choice. And as such of that, if you're wondering, should I take my kids? Yeah, sure. Your kids will probably enjoy this. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it watching it. I thought it was fun. It's got good songs. It's got pretty colors. It's got decent fairy tale stuff. It's a slight remake of what is, apart from the historical importance of it, a slighter Disney movie. But if you want to see Whistle While You Work and Hi-Ho performed in very pretty, big, opulent sequences, yeah, there you go. You get that. It looks cool to the degree that you can revise Snow White into more of an active protagonist, not just waiting for a prince, empowered female character who can stand up to the bad guy but not have to turn her into a character with a sword who fights the bad guy. Because, nothing wrong with that, but they did that. Someone else did that Snow White movie. Kristen Stewart was in it. It was fun. Thor was also in it. It was pretty cool. But like, that's a different movie. In this one, she's more of an upbeat, positivist character who, wants to help people, share the wealth, and, give the business to the bad guy and talk people into being good. Good message. There's an interesting way that they do that. But if you want to see just the Disney Snow White, the Disney Evil Queen, the apple, the magic mirror, the dwarves, all the stuff looking real, they do that, and it comes together pretty well. Whether or not this needed to exist when the animated one is perfectly good, I don't know if need or want or who asked for this is ever the important question to ask about the movie. This is a perfectly good, normal movie to watch, and the more interesting thing that I can say about it is that all of the pre-chatter about this was just such dumb, meaningless bullshit, and none of it turns out to have been for anything. Everyone was mad about nothing for a movie that just kind of comes down to an acceptable 7 out of 10 good remake movie with good songs and a winning lead performance. There's probably a lesson in that.